Hey YouTube, David Richter Scale Studios. Welcome to part 3 and the final part. If I do some stuff in the future, we'll see it all together. Well, the troops are done. Sorry I didn't do it on film. I just kind of got a wild hair and just started painting away. And before I knew it, they were done, which was kind of awesome. You saw what I did in the previous part with the colors. Basic greens with a little bit of just barely highlighting, a lot of washes to bring the colors back together and tone down the highlights. Then kind of went back in and highlighted them again. These soldiers are very, very simple. Black boots, black gloves, dark metal weapons, bronze. I used a bronze from Army Painter. I know something I like the color of it. They don't really have faces. I'm just saying they have face shields, kind of like riot gear. It could be just like, you know, communication stuff with special infrared or whatever their vision is in the future. And then highlighted them up with that lighter color. If you look in part 12 for that. And then did a couple different washes. I washed them at one time when I just did the uniform. Then went in and did the highlights and did a thrack of green over the highlights to kind of bring them together. So you can see some of the little equipment pouches and all that. Tried to highlight all that. Did a little bit of highlighting on the front of their legs. Anything that sunlight would hit a little bit. Helmet's got two different highlights. A little like a wet blend of a lighter shade than what the very tip tops. Just because I mean, we're dealing with 10 millimeter. Like you see in the photograph or for scale, here's a dime. And I mean, this thing, if you put the dime's neck on the base, they're still coming up to his forehead. So those are basically like that. I really liked how some of these guys turned out. The eyes were a pain in the ass on these, so they're so tiny. And a brush that I really fell in love with, but really liked the control was one of my Scotas. And I don't know which one it was. That's a 2. Yeah, it's a 3/0 Scota. I did the eyes on the Scourge dudes. And I like how they came out. They got purple pants, black boots, dark gray gloves, kind of match. It's the dark rubber I used on the treads for the vehicles for the U.C.M. So I used it on their gloves. The same dark metallic on the weapons. Nothing too exciting on that. Black helmets. I did the light rubber. Or no, I didn't. I did like one of the Reaper lighter grays for the respirators. And then you can see the little dots for eyes. This is one of the... Like that one in the back is awesome. You can see his little eyes are just perfect. And those are actually done once, then washed, then done again to bring them out. And also help if there's any mistakes. You know how the pigment will kind of settle over that color and fix it. And then highlighted the coats to make them pop a little bit on the board. And did some highlighting on their power packs for their laser rifles. Because these are different weapons than they have. These are kind of like self-contained for the U.C.M. And these guys have little, lines. I didn't really get into painting much of that. Actually, I kind of noticed at the very end. But they're okay. I mean, they're going to look cool for the tabletop. These aren't going in any competition. So that is it for the U.C.M. and the Scourge. Ready to play, no excuses. I've been looking over the rules. Very easy to kind of grasp. Going off camera real quick. And then I want to add these guys to the mix. You see this Dropzone Commander. This is the Resistance. So these are the guys that were left behind. That guys that, you know, either the U.C.M. escaped to some of their distant like colonies to escape the Scourge, or the PHR, Post-Human Republic, went and followed that little silver spur to these other planets. And they kind of went in their own ways of evolving over 200 years to where we're getting to this point now. These guys were left behind to survive and kind of flourished and used what they had left. You can kind of see, like, even our modern day stuff kind of represents here. We got, you know, trucks. We got, these are kind of a little more advanced what we have today, but you can see that in the future. But big hovercraft like the Marines use for landing on beaches. And basically they're basic tanks that we still use in the 21st century. So I'm looking forward to putting these guys together soon. It'll be kind of fun because these guys can fight the Scourge and the U.C.M. and PHR. They all kind of have loose relationships or stuff against each other. I just noticed on there there's some little life preservers on there. It's going to be kind of cool to paint. But the U.C.M. Either gets along with you guys or they don't. If I read some of the fluff. So that's kind of exciting. So, you know, if you have a feral resistance, those are the ones that are kind of like road warriors that don't want anything to do with any new influences coming on their planets. Or then you have regular resistance that are looking forward to reuniting with their human brethren from 200 years before. So, as usual, I want to thank you for joining me. I'm going to start working on some Las Vegas Open projects. I'm going to try to get something done. In the next video, you'll see on that. It's something from Ancient Forge. Just going back to my roots of Dungeons & Dragons, I love dwarves. So I'm doing something called the Ancient Forge. So the next video, you'll see what I'm doing on that. And that's having some of its own challenges of its own. Can't seem to get a break on these resin models. There's always something funky with them. And it just kind of makes you have to bring out your skill to put them together to get them ready to paint. So as usual, thank you for joining me. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks again.